Welcome to Radiant Mom Rising. Get ready to be inspired, empowered, and uplifted. I'm your host, Mary Dibble, and in each episode, we dive into amazing stories, insights, and conversations that help moms like you chase your dreams and embrace your worth. Let's rise and shine together.
Hey, Radiant Mamas, and welcome back to another episode of Radiant Mom Rising. Today's conversation is one I truly believe every mom needs to hear because it talks about something we don't talk about nearly enough: protecting our families in a way that feels loving, grounded, and empowering, not scary or overwhelming. I'm sitting down with Cecilia Amo, an incredible attorney who brings heart, empathy, and humanity into the world of life and legacy planning. And trust me, this is not your typical legal conversation. If you're a fan of classic pop culture like Harry Potter, Marvel, Star Wars, and more, you will appreciate her even more after tuning in. We're talking about guardianship, legacy, resilience, authenticity, and what it really means to plan ahead from a place of love instead of fear. So whether you've been avoiding this topic or you felt unsure where to even begin, this episode will meet you right where you are and leave you feeling more informed, supported, and empowered. So without further ado, Miss Cecilia Amo.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today, I'm with Cecilia Amo. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thanks so much for having me. Really excited to be here.
Excited to have you. Let's get started. If you will, just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do and a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, so as you said, my name is Cecilia Amo. I am I call life and legacy planning lawyer. Different from estate planning, which is what you probably hear all the time. For me, estate planning is one part of it, and life and legacy planning is really holistically looking at what you want for your life and legacy instead of just focusing on documents. So I'm an attorney here in California. I'm a huge nerd. I just came out with a book called Your After Credit Scene, A Nerd's Guide to Wills, Trust, and Legacy, which explains estate planning through the lens of pop culture and all of those references that we love, like Harry Potter, Star Wars, Doctor Who, all those things. But yeah, my goal is really to empower people to make informed decisions and really understand estate planning in a way that I don't think has been focused on, especially for like the generation prior. I think moms these days really need to understand the big picture because laws have gotten complicated, society has gotten complicated.
Yep.
Relationships are tough now with the political landscape. So there are a lot of different factors that you have to consider when you're doing things like guardianship planning.
Ooh, okay. We're definitely going to get into that because I mean, this is something I feel like just too many of us just take for granted. I mean, we really do.
Hmm.
Like we talk about life so much and we don't really ever
Hmm.
think about like unexpected deaths or things that could happen, all sorts of things that we just don't prepare for. And I, working in the banking industry many years ago, it used to really break my heart when I would see
Hmm.
something happen and it was as simple as someone just not being able to get on an account because they weren't a POD, a payable upon death.
Hmm.
And something as simple as that step could have saved that family so much headache and things like that. So I think this is a very important topic for moms listening today because let's be real, unless you're really in that world of an attorney and understanding the law, like you don't really know what you don't know. So thank you so much for coming on
Exactly.
today and sharing more about this. And I do have to say, because we talked about this before, but I too am a huge like Harry Potter, Doctor Who fan. So I love that you have taken something that can be is so serious and such a big deal and incorporate it in a way that, can reach the hearts of so many people who would normally not think about these things. So tell us a little bit more about your experience as an attorney that led you to do what you do today.
Well, so estate planning is not something I planned to do. I
Okay.
actually started my career in civil rights litigation, catastrophic injury litigation. I was the first Asian attorney to be hired by Johnny Cochran's law firm, if any of you are old enough to know who that is. But it was a really big deal in the Filipino American community.
Oh,
I was like on media,
oh,
TV, newspaper, magazine articles. And I was like, I felt like I was carrying the weight of expectation for my community. And I had to be this perfect lawyer on the outside that was basically like, Laura Flynn Boyle on the practice, right?
Mm.
Perfect, polished, confident
Yes.
all the time. But the truth is, I am a very socially awkward kid, especially, I mean, I was homeschooled
Oh,
and I'm a big nerd. And, all this Marvel, Harry
yeah, very cool.
Potter anime stuff is cool now,
Yeah,
but it
back
was
then.
not cool in the 2000s.
I
It
know,
was
I know.
not cool then. So I always felt a little bit out of step around a lot around my peers, but just short, kind of cutting it short, throughout my journey, I eventually found my way into estate planning because I met my mentor, Allie Katz, who had she's kind of brought together all these lawyers under the banner of doing estate planning a heart-centered way, in a way that will actually help people and make sure that the plans work. Like, she herself, as a mom in the 90s, was thinking very practically about estate planning, and she developed something called the Kids Protection Plan, and she trains lawyers to really look at it holistically so that these guardianship planning strategies are not just it's not just about being legally good. Like, it should work not just legally, but practically and relationally, So all of those things.
I love it. I love it. And I mean, this is, like I said, what you said about how you met that mentor. It's just another reason why I love encouraging moms to go out there and just try new things and to do things, because you just never know who you're going to come across, right? What opportunities present itself that will shift you from something, like you said, you weren't looking for estate planning, but you found it and fell in love. But I think what makes you really awesome and unique is how you kind of were able to incorporate like what you call as a nerd, but I think is so cool. But that part of you that's really authentic into your work. And I'd love to kind of talk more about that and like how did that unfold for you?
Well,
Yeah.
honestly, it was really terrifying. It was really, really scary sharing this part of myself in a professional context,
Yeah.
because we do tend to compartmentalize parts of ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's the part of us that goes to church, and there's the part of us who goes to Marvel movies, and there's the part of us who, takes care of the kids, and there's the part of us who goes to work. And,
Mhm.
so all of these different pieces, integrating them into who I am now has been definitely quite the journey. And I couldn't have done it without a solid community that really advocated for my authenticity. And that was
Oh,
another thing. Like, I'm so grateful to my mentor who built this network of attorneys who are all heart centered and holistic minded, because I felt safe sharing this with them,
yeah.
and they encouraged me. I was like, hey, this is, I'm thinking about writing this blog article about estate planning lessons from Harry Potter, and they were like, oh my gosh, that's such a great idea. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll do it. So I started taking little steps, and then I eventually just went to a local anime pop culture convention,
Mm-hmm.
and just was like, okay, I'm going to be a lawyer talking about estate planning in this space where lawyers don't go to talk about estate planning.
Yeah.
And I met a couple there, and they became my clients.
Wow.
And then here's the not so, I mean, this is the sad part, is that within probably a year or so after they did planning with me, the one of them unexpectedly passed away.
Oh,
And
wow.
if they had not met me, they wouldn't have had the support or the plan in place. And it was just being in the right place at the right time to be there to serve them. And I've gotten really close to the surviving spouse through this. And
Wow.
you know, I
Yeah.
always say, like, it's crazy that we
It,
met at a pop culture convention.
yeah.
And so I want to keep having those conversations. I want to be there for
Mhm.
people who probably never have thought about this or don't want to, because
Yes. Wow.
framing it in the light of Harry Potter and Star Wars makes it a lot easier to talk about this very, very uncomfortable subject, right?
Yes, yes. I mean, well, and it's important to have these conversations. As I'm saying, I'm so excited how you made. I want to learn hear more about that, and I just want to say, first of all, that's such a powerful share, and also another like example of when you're in alignment with who you're meant
Mm,
to be, and stop trying to play by the rules of what everyone tells you to be. Like you decided to go to this because. First of all, attorneys don't go to this for this reason, but it's something you love and you're passionate about, but you decide to go there as who you are. Your identity is the attorney and you want to help people. And you just came and it's like that attraction. And look at that. Like God knew, like they put you together because you were meant to help them prepare for something that they didn't know was coming. And that's what
Hmm.
this is all about. And so I'd like to hear like an example, for instance, like if you don't mind to share with the audience, tell us like a just like a little snippet, something that listeners maybe can implement today to protect their loved ones, but and how you use like the Harry Potter stories or
Oh,
Marvels as an example. Like give
yeah,
us a
yeah.
little
I've
example
got a
here.
great I've got a great example for the moms out there who are Harry Potter fans. Do you have a Petunia Dursley in your life?
Mm.
Because if you do have a Petunia Dursley in your life, you really need to have a solid guardianship plan. Because whether you have one or not, I mean, whether you have created one, you have one. The government has already created a plan for you because they're so thoughtful and they're like, well, let's, we're going to decide what's best for your kids if something happens to you. And our plan is a judge who knows nothing about you is going to decide what's in the best interests of your children. And a Petunia Dursley is someone who would be like complete different values than you, but might look like have a perfectly normal family on paper, might look very good on paper. And the
Yeah.
judge might look at that and say, oh, the Dursleys look like a nice family. But as we
Mm.
all know, Harry Potter fans, the Dursleys had deep prejudice against magic and abused Harry.
Yeah.
And he grew up in a very hostile environment. So that's something that I would encourage all the moms out there to think about is, do you have someone who might step forward for guardianship planning and or to step forward and try to petition for custody if something happened to you? And even if you're estranged, think about this.
Mhm.
Most young parents, of course, are not thinking about death. If it happens, it will happen probably in a catastrophic accident. And what happens around catastrophic accidents? Multi-million dollar lawsuits. And it is not unheard of for relatives, aunts, and uncles who never had any contact with children before to come out of the woodwork and say, oh, I think I would be a good guardian for this child now that there is a multi-million dollar lawsuit involved. So
Oof.
not a fun question, but I mean, again,
Yeah.
framing it in the light of do you have a Petunia Dursley in your life
Yeah.
is a good way to think about that issue.
Yeah. Wow, that is a powerful thing. I never would have even thought like that, but that is so powerful because I'm sure a lot of people listening, you want to be close with all your family, of course, but that's in today's world, I mean, dysfunctional families, man, they're a thing, okay? I don't
Hmm.
I don't even know what
Yeah.
the meaning of a normal family is in my opinion, but it's like, yeah, you do have all those people because everyone has their things that their experiences, their beliefs, their generational conditioning. And I know a
Hmm.
lot of us are working to break that, which is awesome. Like we got to keep
Hmm.
going with that. But however, we can't change everyone. And especially those who are older than us. They are set, a lot of them are so set in their ways. It's a lot
Hmm.
harder. But it's like to think about that with your children, especially. And taking steps to ensure that whoever does, if something were to happen, I think this is something that, again, we don't take the time to talk about. And there is that
Hmm.
uncomfortableness around this conversation. I really have had one other person who was an attorney as well on the show that's ever talked about this thing. And she does the same thing where she helps them. And she's so bubbly to have a person, which is awesome. But she does have a gentle way of helping people to have these conversations and really like asking even the person, let's say who you're wanting to plan, let's say you're wanting to plan for your parents. It's like, really helping to ask them the right questions to get to know them. Like, what would they
Hmm.
like? How would they like to see their funeral? How would they like for things to be planned? What do they envision for what's left? And it's I know, like I said again, it's an awkward thing, but at the same time, apparently a lot of people have gained closeness from it. And like you say, when you have that, whether it's like a binder in the end of all the stuff together, you're literally having something that right there alone is such a relief from knowing that things are in order. So just in case anything happens, which of course we don't want that to, but reality is we don't know when our time is. And so it's so amazing to have that, like you say, that planning in order so that no matter what, you feel good about what's going to happen next. And yeah, I can't imagine. I'd like to hear like, your experience, for instance, even as an attorney, like what are some of the things that you saw that really motivated you in the end too to create this way for yourself and for others?
Well, as I mentioned before, I never really thought estate planning would be the path for me because
Yeah.
I was a litigation attorney. I went to
Yeah.
trial, right? I was the attorney that you see on TV.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of like trial
Yeah.
lawyers are pretty arrogant. They're rock stars of the legal world, we like to
Yeah.
tell ourselves. And estate planning kind of is like, oh, what are you doing? Just filling out documents is the idea that you see a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, estate planning, the documents, forget the documents,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's about the plan. The
Yeah.
documents should just be the side effect. And that's one of the things that I
Hmm.
do
I
want
like that.
to tell the moms out there is
Yeah.
that the attorney that you work with is going to be very critical to this process. You
Mm-hmm.
want an attorney who will be gentle with you, who will have these conversations. You don't want the attorney on TV who is yelling, you know, and
Yeah.
or saying this is the way you do it. Sure, if you were accused of a crime, you want an attorney like that to defend you and be that bulldog for you, but with life and legacy planning, when thinking about your legacy and who
Mm-hmm.
would raise your children if you weren't around, you need an attorney who has empathy.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
Sounds like that lawyer that was also on here who was bubbly and had those
Yes.
conversations was that
Yeah.
kind of lawyer. And
Yeah.
that's, you know, that's one of the things. And then the other thing is, and in my book I have a whole chapter about how to find a good lawyer, but especially for moms out there, is you want a lawyer who will have a system already built in to keep checking in on you to update the
Okay.
plan as life goes on
Yes.
because you know, your children are going to grow, people are going to move
Yes.
away, the
Yeah.
guardians are going to change, the people who are emergency responders are going to change, and you want an attorney who has a review process built in. For example, myself and all of the other lawyers in the personal family lawyer network that I'm a part of, all of our plans include a no cost review every 3 years.
Oh,
So every 3 years, we're checking back in with our clients and saying, hey, has anything changed? You know, let's talk about this. And it's kind of like a when the dentist tells you you have an appointment, right? You get the
yes.
card and you're like, oh, do I have to do this?
Yes.
And some people schedule the appointment, some people don't. But it's important, right?
Yeah.
It's important for long-term health because I think one of the biggest reasons why plans fail is because people see them as documents. They get the documents done, they put them on a shelf or stick them in the drawer, and they think, okay, I have
Yeah.
checked that off my list and it is done.
Yeah.
But it should be a living thing that aligns with your life.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, checking in because you're right, things change over time and having that support and that person to turn to, that's a very important. So, yeah, so when tell me a little bit about the book. And let's talk about the book too. Like, where did that motivation come from on your journey to write a book like this?
Well, it's a good question because it was one of the
Yeah.
scariest things I've ever done. Honestly,
Ah! There's so many
it
scary
was
things. Some of the best things though come from the scary things, right?
right. Yeah, and I think that is definitely like for the mom
Yeah.
entrepreneurs out there,
Mhm.
definitely like only we know what
Yeah.
it's like to live this life of entrepreneurship where
Yes.
it's so counterintuitive.
Hmm.
Like you have to do these things that you feel like
Ah.
you should that don't feel like logically the right way, but
Yeah.
your gut is telling you go do it and you're
Yeah.
just like ah. So writing the book was one of those things.
Yeah.
When I started going to conventions and LA Comic Con and anime and
Hmm.
all that stuff, I wrote these pamphlets that I would give out for free. And I
Oh,
had, you know, lessons, estate planning lessons from Harry Potter. I had another one for Star Wars, another one for Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones is basically a blended family with bad estate planning.
yeah. Sorry.
And I think I had one for the MCU too. So I would just
Yeah.
have this for people and they would pick it up and they, you know,
Hmm.
and then throughout the year, as I'm doing my networking thing, I would also give this out and people would just love it. They would just be
Yeah.
like, this is so amazing. And I've never thought about it this way. And I just love how you've made estate planning relatable. And I just had it in the back of my mind, like, maybe I should write a book. Like these pamphlets are doing so well and people are so receptive. What if I had a book that did all this? And, you know, because I can't stand there for like 2 hours and tell them all of the things that I think about estate planning that I think they need to
Exactly.
know. And then so yeah, at the beginning of last year, I really thought about it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And I spent most of last year writing it, and it just came out, and it's crazy like that. It
Yes.
actually,
Is that it's
we
here,
never
right?
know what we're capable of,
Yeah.
right? I'm
Hmm.
sure you've run into that a lot.
Oh yeah, girl, even just doing this podcast, like I know I'm the same thing. I didn't see it coming. I didn't, I even becoming a life coach, like I was so
Mm-hmm.
in love with it because of how it changed my life that I
Mm-hmm.
just felt this calling that like, wow, Mary, this could be your way of giving back. I've
Yeah.
always dreamed of like inspiring others, being like a motivational speaker in some way, fashion. I didn't know exactly how. I mean, back when I was a kid, of course, I dreamt of being an actress, but I was like, honestly, with the way Hollywood is today, I'm like, thank God I didn't go. That didn't work out,
Yeah.
honestly. They're
Yeah.
crazy. But I mean, I love helping people. And you know what's even
Mm-hmm.
cooler? It's like outside of being an actress, especially like comparison, I get to be me. Like I
Yes.
think for so much of my life, I fought my who I was. Like I tried to
Mm-hmm.
be what everyone wanted me to be. I literally used to be like, I'm the white girl with the all year tan because I grew up in a very country lifestyle. And it's just like, I didn't even accept my own ethnicity. Like, I didn't even accept that I'm
Mm-hmm.
Puerto Rican and Trinidadian. Like, I really hid from who I was. I felt ashamed. And it's so amazing and so empowering as I've gotten older, like even just as much as my hair, like I used to straighten it and all that to try to just accepting myself, like truly accepting, but not just even accepting, loving myself. And the
Wow.
more and more I'm on this journey, the more I'm also like getting like this strength in me to just speak my truth and no longer tolerate things that I've once tolerated, set boundaries. Like, I mean, that
Mm-hmm.
stuff is so powerful for a person and just really stepping more and more into the identity of who we are truly meant to be rather than who we've thought we had to be or whatever to survive. And so
Absolutely.
yeah, it's been a very amazing journey as I come a long way, but I completely get it. It's like you don't really know where something's going to take you. I mean, just like how you were that typical attorney in the beginning, but somebody helped show you a different way, and it's just that you kind of have to learn how to go with that. Like I said, the
Mm-hmm.
podcast thing wasn't something I was looking for, but it showed up and I just decided to say yes. And then here I am, season 3. I love it. It's one of the it lights me up and I'm
Yeah.
excited to see where else it goes, right? Just like with your book.
Yeah.
Here it is. Something you thought about a year ago and worked really hard on. It exists. It's now there. You made it your reality and it's just getting started for you because now you get to put it out in the world and you could I was reading in a book the other day about a man. Oh, what was the name of his book? Like it's like Tuesdays with I forget the name of the man. Anyways, his book came out, I think it wasn't even a bestseller for months. Like, but then after months, it finally people started passing it along, and you know what I mean. So it's like one of those things
Mm-hmm.
too. It takes time sometimes to grow things, and that's okay. But the
Mm-hmm.
important thing is you've created something so powerful and so helpful for so many people, and made it fun too. Like how do you? I honestly look forward to reading this because it's so cool to see how you to learn more about how you're gonna use these stories from things that people love and watch and never have really thought about how this pertains to estate planning. And like you say, I love that you also say it as like a life and legacy plan. I was reading that about you, and I like that because you're right. It's so much more than just the estate. It's about your life and just preparing always for the changes that come and how you're going to show up for different things or how your family can be taken care of in situations. So, anyways, that's my little blab.
No, that was great. That was great. And I loved what you said about like how the podcast lights you up because I can see that joy shining through.
Thanks.
And that is, I think, what we need to find as entrepreneurs. What is that thing that lights you up? Like that's why we're in the
Yeah.
entrepreneur game, right? Is we're trying to
Yeah.
build a life for ourselves that we love and something that reflects who we are. And I think it's beautiful. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
thanks for sharing that. I
Yeah.
can see how it lights you up.
Yes.
And people tell me that I light up when I do, talk about estate planning with this pop
Yeah.
culture thing. Like it's just I'm just different, right? When you show up
Yeah.
as your whole self, it's very different.
It is. And it's cool
Um,
because we all are unique in our own ways. And
mhm,
we need to embrace that. Like, that's why there's no one else who can do what we do. Like, even if it's
absolutely.
similar things, you are who you are. And I think we need to stop running from that and instead run
Yeah.
towards that. And like you say, like, this is so neat what you've created because you were authentic to yourself, because you decided to stop following the norm and just be who you wanted to be and what felt right. And And you're just again, there's so much more that's to come from this. So I'm
Thank
very
you.
excited for you. Very
Thank
excited for
you.
you.
And
Yeah.
I want to encourage all of the moms out there too, because through this journey, there was, as I was networking, there
Hmm.
was like a couple moments that I could have totally abandoned this. One was when I met a someone networking, he was older, felt very like a good father figure type person, and he was like, "This is a terrible business plan." And
Wow.
he said, the sales cycle is much shorter if you talk to senior citizens. But that was not how I built my firm. I built my firm to be very tech focused,
Yeah.
very like, really built it for working moms, working parents, having Zoom meetings at night or Saturday mornings, having everything available, all the paperwork and everything was done through online portals.
Yeah.
Not a good fit with senior citizens.
Mm,
But because I had respected him, I felt like I I needed to go that way. So those people can appear in our lives where their advice is good, but maybe not the right fit for you. Like
yeah.
and it's hard because for me, like of course I want to respect elders, I defer to
Yeah.
wisdom, and there are definitely lots of elders out there that who you want to listen to, but sometimes you have to just kind of like make that
Yes. Ultimate.
discernment
Yeah.
of this is not actually the path for you. And then the other so there was this other moment where it was right before I was getting ready to go to that convention. And I printed all my pamphlets, the first one, and I was like ready to go. And then my best friend from law school called me and she said, "Hey, she's like a up there in the IRS, and she's like, the IRS is hiring in your area, and used to be really tight there with the supervisor. I can definitely get you a job, and you'll have like six figures right away, and it'll be, government jobs, so you'll be out by 4, and within a year you'll be like working from home half the time." And and then government benefits and all of that, and
Yeah.
you'll be building into to a government pension and all. Just sounded wonderful, right? And everyone out there who's been hustling as an entrepreneur knows that there is that sweet sweet temptation of, wouldn't it be nice to just show up and have a paycheck?
Yeah. Right? Oh
so
gosh.
so I struggled with that all day. I was like praying and thinking and journaling, and then my husband came home and I told him, and he looked at me and said, "Why would you ever want to give up chasing your dream?"
Oh, what a good man.
Definitely. Oh my gosh. But I was like, "What?" Like, but money.
Right.
He was like, "No." He's like, we're okay. I would hate for you to regret not doing this." And so now
You
here I am, 3 years later. I'm doing it.
love it. I love that. That's so powerful, both of those, because, with the first story, and it's like people love you, but they still will, don't realize like we all are projecting our own experiences and our own
Hmm.
limitations on each other. So it is important to discern, like you say, because where somebody, even a family member, might be like, "Are you sure
Hmm.
you should be doing this?" Because for
Hmm.
them, they don't believe that it's possible. Not, and so they want to protect you. Like they
Yeah.
sometimes do it out of the love that they want to see, they want to save you from what they think is not going to work for you. But at the same time, when you're on this journey, it takes faith. It takes
Yeah.
believing in what's not possible. It takes taking action, even though you have no idea what the outcome's going to be or when the results are going to show up or when they're going to happen. Like it just takes following through. And you're right, letting go of the temptations. It's like Sylvester Stallone whenever he was homeless and somebody read his Rambo. And you know what I mean? And they offered him $100,000 back then. That's a lot of money. And he could have easily just taken it and been like, "Ooh, it's money." But he was so certain that he was meant to act that part. And it's like, if he hadn't stuck his guns and just and said, "No, I'm going to act." And even though they were like, "You have no acting experience, like you're too short, you can't do this,
Yeah.
blah blah blah," but he didn't let that go. Even though he, like I said, being homeless, like that could have changed so much
Hmm.
already in itself, and like the rest is history. And so it's like, and with you, especially with that moment of having that temptation, that's so powerful, and just knowing, sticking to your guns. even when you're not sure if it is always the right way to go. But honestly, yeah, it is always the right way to go. I think when it comes to faith, chasing your dreams, always the right way to go,
Yeah.
chasing our dreams,
Yeah.
because you guys, this is it. I always talk about that too in the show. It's like,
Yeah.
this is the only life we got. Like, how do we want to live
Yeah.
it? Just, yeah, I mean, money, the way I look at money now, I'm really working, that's been something I've worked on too, is my relationship with money. It's like I always felt like I had to have it in order to live. And it's like, no, 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 no. Money's just a tool and it's always available and it's always showing up in both expected and unexpected ways.
Hmm.
And for me, I want to choose life and living and trust that it will find its way to me one way or another. It does not have to be straight from a job. You know what I mean? And there's many different forms and different ways. So it's really important to also discern that in your life, your relationship with money,
Yeah. That
and
mindset shift
whew,
is so powerful. I mean, I
everything.
remember going through that mindset shift myself, and
Yeah.
the I think one of the things that I really learned through that was people can feel when you are in scarcity mindset,
Yeah.
even if because you just show up differently.
Hmm.
And when you show up worried about money versus when you show up with your full heart ready to serve someone,
Yeah.
they can feel the difference.
Oh, I love that. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. And like I said, and ultimately, when you're an entrepreneur, it's not about just making revenue. It is about serving. I mean, that's why it's important you
Hmm.
choose what you choose because you need to love it. Like you need to be
Yeah.
passionate about it because you're here to provide value. You can't just
Yeah.
ask people for money for money. I mean, it's not about that. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I just want
Yeah.
your money. I mean, and there are people like that out there, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
this is what's so important about being aligned with who you are and
Hmm.
like when you find someone or something that speaks to you and you feel this calling that you should be a part of that or you might need to be in this person's world, like listen to that because there's something for you that's going to get you to that next level, that next identity, that next version of yourself that's going to get braver and braver and take more and more action. And that is where you're going to reap the rewards. And I know that's hard, which is why we're here for you.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
We
that's so
yeah,
beautiful.
it's
Yeah.
why we're here because we know, trust me. I mean, that's one thing with me. It's like I get it so much. That's why I'm so passionate about coaching because of what it's done for me personally, and then getting to help other moms like finally believe in themselves, like love
Mm.
themselves and stop putting themselves on the back burner. Like, oh, that just is golden. Like it's
Oh, that's
awesome.
so
You know what I mean?
beautiful.
It's golden.
Yeah.
It's beautiful because we all deserve it. We deserve
Yeah.
to live our best lives and to live a life that we love.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel it. I can feel it. Like
Love it.
see, just that like
Mhm.
sets you apart. That passion, that energy, that love sets you apart from, I would say, like 90% of the other coaches I've ever met networking. Like
Oh,
it really shows through. So like you said, you have to really love
yes.
what you put yourself into, what you're investing yourself into. And like you said, we only have this one life, and I definitely feel that now that I'm in this industry of life and legacy
Yes.
planning, which is another weird thing for me because I'm the kind of person who like I hate endings, and I've never really wanted to talk about this subject. Like I have like video games that are unfinished because I didn't want them to end.
I, I know what that's like, actually. Even TV shows sometimes. Like, I have a
Yes.
hard time letting those go when they get to the end.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah. So
gosh.
ending, so that's kind of why I named my book after credit scene, because it's like that one last scene that
Yeah.
still is kind of the bridge between the ending of the movie and what's
Mm,
coming next.
mm,
And when you're doing estate planning, you are kind of writing your after credit scene,
mm,
and kind of like we were saying how entrepreneurship can be counterintuitive, planning for death actually frees you up to live life more, which
mm.
is sounds counterintuitive, but
Yeah.
think about it, like
Yeah.
especially as moms,
Yeah.
you decide you now you have the clarity of
Mm,
who would raise your children if something happened to you. Now, because you've done that, you can live life more intentionally. You
mm-hmm.
can make
Yeah.
sure that your kids have a relationship with that person,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Uh,
Yeah.
you're protecting your kids from potential conflict that might
Yeah.
happen in court if people disagree about who should take custody, and all of that just allows you to be more present because
Yeah.
now you don't have that worry in the back of your head.
Exactly. I completely agree. And I think anyone listening, tell us like a little bit of what it looks like If somebody were listening and they're like, okay, what's my first step? What do I need to do? And besides connecting with you, of course, like what do you offer as far as a first step to get into your world and to learn more about what you
Yes.
do?
Yes, and this is also how you find a good attorney is you look for an attorney who will do these things. First of all, they're
Okay.
not going to quote you over the phone in the first 5 minutes.
Mm,
That they're just selling documents if
yeah.
within 2 minutes they're like telling you how much it is. They don't know they know nothing about you. How can they even tell you
Yes. Yeah.
what it's going to cost? Also, one of the biggest things, ask what their guardianship planning part of their estate package entails. If
Okay.
it's just naming guardians in a will, that's not enough. That's not enough because a will only works if you have died. And what if you are in an accident and you're in the hospital and you're incapacitated for a short
Oh
amount
my
of time?
goodness. Yeah.
So you need something outside of will. So, but going back to what you're saying about what does it look like? It's actually a lot like how you have your Limitless Mom strategy call.
Yeah.
You have this strategy call to get to know people where
Yeah.
they are and where they want to be. I have a life and legacy planning session to educate and empower people to let them know where they are in terms of what is the government's default plan for you? Or
Mm,
if you already have a plan, does that plan actually work? What would that look like in
yeah.
reality? And then where do you want to be? What do you want your legacy to be? What do you want the outcome to be? What is let's plan a roadmap for your children's future if you're not there.
That's
Make
so
sure that's all there. And
yeah.
then another thing I do that because my firm's tagline is legacy is more than the money you leave behind,
Oh.
is I actually take some time and just get on a Zoom call with my clients for an hour and ask them questions about their life.
Oh.
And that's been very powerful just for them to reflect about
Yeah.
their life in this process. Because how many of us really do that? We
Yeah.
hear that all the time, like record a video of yourself or your loved ones or something like that, but we never do that.
Oh,
So
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 true.
that's also an important part of my process. So you want to find an attorney who's actually going to sit down with you
Mhm.
and give you a real consultation that is not them trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
Because when I go into these things, it's much like what your session is like, how
Yeah.
you talk about how you provide clarity and support and next steps that are aligned
Yes.
with their values. Same thing with me, and same thing
Mhm.
with a good attorney who's doing this kind of work. The attorney will give you that clarity because that's where the true peace of mind comes from. A
Yes.
lot of a big mistake that people do is they do this estate planning thing, or they think they do it. They go online,
Yeah.
or they go to an attorney who they barely talk to, and they have this set of documents, but they have no clarity, so they don't have true peace of mind.
Oh,
So you're looking
yeah.
for the attorney who's actually going to walk you through a process that will give you that clarity, that will provide that support now and in the future,
Yeah.
and create this plan that will be aligned with your vision for your life and legacy.
Yeah. I mean, it's truly, it's beautiful of you to offer this for people because it is such an important thing. And I love what you've done with it. I think it's the most amazing, actually, by far, one of my favorite ways I've ever heard anyone. And I love that uniqueness and how you incorporate things that you love and that many people love and make it so understandable, so easy, so relatable, and so make it just, less uncomfortable to make these decisions and to see it in a different, more positive light of the
Mhm.
reality of what it is. So that's you're doing amazing things. And
Oh,
if
thank
anyone's
you.
listening to, go ahead and just tell us where can they find you? Where's the best place to go find you and your book?
My website is amo-law.com. So amo-law.com. And you can find a link to After Credits. But if you want to go straight to the book, it'll be amo-law.com/after credits. And that'll go straight to the book. And I'm in California, so of course I can help anyone in California. But if you're outside of California, my network is like 600 attorneys strong all across the nation. So I can help you
Nice.
find someone nearby, or you can go to personalfamilylawyer.com and find an attorney that way. But if you come through me, I might know someone like personally in your area, and I'll be
Yes.
like, that person. Because I know the nerds. So,
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and I mean, knowing you, like I would want to come to someone like you for a referral. Like I would be like, who would you recommend? Because you take the time to get to know people, obviously, even in your network. So it's like you're gonna know, hey, this person will take care of you, kind of thing. And I think
yeah.
that's
Well,
important too, even if you
yeah.
can't be the one, like just knowing that you're someone that you can we can turn to be like, well, who can I trust? Like, who do you recommend? That's
Yeah.
powerful. And what entrepreneurship is all about too. I feel like the more we come together, you mentioned community earlier, and I think people just
Mhm.
underrate that because community is everything. It is the people who really have your back and believe in you when you can't always believe in yourself, and they always keep you going and motivated. And just people that you can truly turn to that they're on the same path as you. Like we're all in this together, and we're all there to support and uplift one another so that we all thrive. And I think it's important who you surround yourself with when it comes to that. So
Yeah,
yeah, I think it's great.
absolutely. I think it is so important. Like I said, I don't think I would have had the courage
Yeah.
to to do this and to practice law this way if I didn't have a strong community of people who were just all the time so giving, so supportive, so like, yeah, go do
Yeah.
this thing, you know. You're not weird. And I had someone actually like say, because I would always kind of be defensive,
Hmm.
just because it was ingrained in me. And I would say something like, yeah, I'm the weird attorney. And someone was like, stop saying that. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yes. Oh, I love it when people
She,
check you
she's
like that. It's
like,
like,
my
yes.
cat's name is Hermione Magic. Like, come on, it's fine. You're just,
I love that too. You're not weird. I know. It's funny how we do that to ourselves, right? We like
yeah.
immediately label ourselves just to almost protect ourselves. Like, okay, I know you're just
Mhm.
going to assume I'm weird, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it. But it's like, no,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
we gotta watch that. We gotta watch our self-talk for sure. And I love that. People have called me out with that too. Like, just the whole, even just saying the word can't, like, it's like maybe
Oh,
you don't
mhm.
have it yet. Yet is my new favorite word. So I'm just like, I may not be there yet, but it's on
Yeah.
its way. It's only a matter of when. That's my thing. It's only a matter of when.
Yeah,
But
that mindset, so
yeah,
powerful.
it is so powerful. And of course, I always love to open the floor to, is there any final piece of advice that you would like to leave with listeners today?
Ooh, I don't know, because we went through so much good
Yeah.
stuff today. Well, I would just say, like I said, this is a really important thing that you're going to be doing, right?
Yes.
So find the right attorney to work with. And I think that is my most like the thing I want people to take away with, because the estate planning industry is like any industry, and there are not great attorneys out there who are working on a volume-based extractive model. They're not seeking to give to people. And
Yeah.
for a long time, I think in the industry, there was this idea of, okay, we'll do some documents and then they won't come back until they're dead, like 20 years later, and then everything will be out of date, and then we'll charge their family for probate. So that
Ah,
was the model for many people. I actually talked to like this one very old attorney who was like the preeminent attorney in his community. And he actually told me he started as an estate planning attorney and his practice naturally became probate as his clients started dying. And I was like, wait,
wow.
that doesn't sound right.
No.
So the
Wow.
attorney that you work with is going to make a huge difference, not just for the experience, but
Yeah.
for taking care of your family. Because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, a set of documents is not going to be there for your family. You want to work with someone who you can feel that they care about you and they care about your
Yeah.
plan working.
Yeah, they have your back, like really have your
Yeah.
back. Yeah, I love this. And I just thank you so much for everything you shared. I do think this is such an important topic. And just also, you make it fun too. And at the same time, and I love that. It's just so nice to talk about this and to also, just show too the different paths that we take as entrepreneurs, as moms,
Mhm.
as women, and just learning to really like listen to ourselves and be real and just put ourselves out there and
Yeah.
let things unfold, let things happen and just go with it. I think that's a
Yeah.
beautiful way to be, instead of trying so much to have so much control over the
Mhm.
outcome of things. So thank you. I want to thank you so much for being part of this. I'm excited for you because I feel like this is like you're just getting started, but putting this book out there, and I look forward to those who get to work with you, learn from you, and that you get to help them plan. their legacy in
Oh,
life.
thank you so much. Well, thank you so much for having me. This has been like an amazing conversation, and I feel like I'm gonna go into my day all like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I
because your
love.
energy is so contagious. It's really
Oh,
good.
I love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Thank you so much.
What an amazing conversation with Cecilia. Before we wrap up, I want to gently highlight a few takeaways I hope you carry with you after listening today. Planning for your family's future isn't morbid, it's an act of love and leadership. Estate and guardianship planning give you a voice instead of leaving decisions to the state. You deserve professionals in your life who lead with empathy, care, and continued support. Legacy isn't just what you leave behind, it's how you show up right now for the people you love. When moms take aligned action, even in uncomfortable areas, they create calm, clarity, and confidence. If today's conversation resonated and you'd like to learn more about Cecilia and her heart-centered work, be sure to check out her links in the show notes and grab a copy of her incredible book today to begin learning about planning for you and your family's future. And Mama, thank you, truly thank you for being here, for listening, and for choosing to grow with intention. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean so much if you would follow the show, share it with another mom, or leave a quick review. Those small actions help this message reach women who need it most. Until next time, keep honoring what matters, keep trusting yourself, and keep rising into the woman you're becoming. Much love.